Hey, what is up, everybody? I sound like crap. I have a cold. Don't worry, I'm fine. I actually was really tired for the last like 3 days, and today was the day that my voice just decided to sound like this. This happens to me like every freaking year. I end up losing my voice, so probably tomorrow it'll be even more gone. We'll see what happens. But somebody had asked me about the update on my neck, and so I'm giving an update because I went to a neurosurgeon today. So backing up a little bit, just for anybody who doesn't know, because I kind of talked about it more in my Instagram story. I don't think I've said anything on YouTube, but I had gone up snowboarding about 6 weeks ago, and prior to us snowboarding that day, the night before, I shoveled a bunch of snow, and I probably used muscles that I don't normally use in my back and shoulders and stuff. And the next day, I went snowboarding, and it was kind of one of those days where I was still learning, so I was falling a lot. And I had one fall where I was trying to go down on my heel edge, and I leaned too far forward and it caught my toe edge, and I did like a whiplash motion and fell downward towards the I was already facing down, so I did like my knees hit the ground, and then I did like a whiplash. And I knew right then something. I was like, oh my God. And so like that whole night was agony, like trying to sleep. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like days and days that I'm going to have to deal with this pain. And then the next day it seemed like a lot better. I don't know why, but it did. And so we went home that day. That was a Sunday. And then 2 days later was a Tuesday, and I sneezed in the morning, and I like pulled that whole muscle again right in my back, my right side, which by the way and I'm left-handed, but I always use my right hand to hold my phone up. I always use my right hand to do like the mouse on the computer, which means I'm raising my arm up. And I always, for I don't know, my whole life, I've thrown and slung bags over my right side. So this is like all kind of a realization to me that maybe that this is why this has all kind of happened. So I'm almost 50, and like things start to freaking wear out. So we went snowboarding. Oh yeah, so I sneezed, and I was like, because I was like in agony that whole day. I like re-pulled whatever it was, and that whole day was kind of misery. Went to bed, woke up, and it was fine. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we go back up and we go snowboarding again, and all of it was fine. Although I could feel this like tension in my back, and I was like, God, I just don't. I hope that nothing goes wrong with this. I wasn't really sure what was happening in my back. And I remember like being on lifts and like rolling my head around and like trying to like loosen it up because I felt like something tightening, even though I wasn't really in pain. And so Eric and I decided to go on one last run. And we hadn't really gone on many runs together because I'm still like learning, and I was like on a blue hill or whatever. And I wanted to go on one more run with him for sure because I was getting it and I was starting to be able to do it. And it was fun to go through some powder with him and stuff. So we go back up for this last run, and this girl in front of me, a little girl with her dad, they were on skis, and she fell down when she got off the lift, which is so common because it's a steep, short slope off these lifts. And when you're snowboarding, you only have one foot hooked into the binding, and your other foot's free, your back foot's free. And I'm goofy foot, so she was right in front of me. I was on the right side of the chair, and Eric was on the left. Eric got around the dad because the dad was trying to help her. They didn't stop the lift. She just fell down right in the way of where we needed to go. So I needed to go around her, but I lost my footing with my loose foot. And, I hadn't had trouble with that slope all day getting off the lift. But this one time, the very last one, is what did it. So I tried to get around her, and I don't, of course, I don't know what happened, but I fell back on my butt really hard, and I braced it all with my right arm to stop it. And that just went right up into my back. And I like literally heard a crunch, and I was like, oh my God, like I was wincing in pain. I thought I didn't know what I did. And I was like, I had to get down the slope. So it was really, really, really painful. And sorry I'm in my car, but there's a lot of people in my house right now, and I just wanted to do this right now. It's quieter in here. But anyways, I got down the slope, and it's like we had to go. I mean, there was tons of snow everywhere. It was the end of the day. We were in the car, and I took like a bunch of ibuprofen, and I thought, well, I'll just get through it. It took 6 hours to get home, which is normally like 3, but there was so much snow, and it just took forever to get home. And I remember thinking, okay, maybe I'll just sleep through this and it'll get better. And it wasn't getting better. And so it was like, I felt like I had kind of an acute injury. I wasn't sure what had happened. So I had leftover Vicodin from a surgery that I'd had. I don't even know. I can't remember which one it was. I had a skateboarding injury that I fell and I had like I want to say a hematoma. I had like a blood injury on my thigh, like it was bad, and then it's a long story, but there was like this capsule thing that like ended up growing in the scar tissue, and they had to actually go in and like cut into my leg and pull this thing out. It's like my leg made a baby. It was so weird. Anyways, I have this disgusting scar on my right where you don't want anyone to look at, which is like right below your butt on your thigh, which is already like a hard area for women as it is. It's like that's like a, it's hard to make that area look nice. And so now I have like a scar like this long running down it, which makes it look even worse. So anyways, long story short, I had leftover Vicodin from that. And so, and I hold on to that like crazy because you never know if you're going to need it. If I have a, UTI, sometimes I get those and you're like suffering from that pain, a Vicodin will like take care of the pain. So I do keep those, and it's like, thank God when you have them, because otherwise you're so uncomfortable. So this was a moment where, yes, I needed Vicodin, and it wasn't really even touching the pain. It was helping, but it wasn't like getting it all the way. So I knew I needed to go to a doctor. So I went to my doctor's office and I saw a PA there, which is a physician's assistant. And I explained to him my pain. I mean, at that point, this was 5 weeks ago. I couldn't even like lift my head up. I was just bent over, holding onto my back when I came in. I probably should have gone to the emergency, but, so, and by the way, this is really killing my arm. I gotta put my arm down. Okay, so, so much better. So anyways, he was such a, oh my God, I'm not gonna say a jerk, but I explained to him my pain. And I said, this is what happened. I told him everything that had happened. And then I said that the only thing that's really helping this or touching the pain is Vicodin. And I knew I had like 30 left, but I still wanted him to know, like, that's where I'm at with pain. And that's not even really helping it. So he basically wrote me off and said he was just going to give me naproxen, which is I guess it's kind of like for inflammation. It's sort of similar to ibuprofen, I guess. And these lidocaine patches, which don't do shit. I mean, they're like 1% lidocaine. They don't do anything. So I was like, and I tried to explain to him again about the Vicodin, just in case I was worried that I might run out. And he just dismissed me kind of and got up and like walked out of the office. And I was like, okay, no x-ray, nothing. So I go back and I finally see my HIV doctor. This is like 5 days later, I'm still bent over, holding my neck. I don't even know how I worked during those days. I brought like, oh my God, I'm having the pain right now. It's like pinching in my back. This has been 6 weeks of this, 5 weeks now. And anyways, so I go to see her and I tell her what happened with him. And I spent all those days in agony. Like, I had the leftover Vicodin, so I was still trying to use that, but I don't want to use that because, well, I know it's addictive, but I don't want to I don't think I have that kind of personality anyways, but it also makes me, like, incredibly constipated. But I just was like, if I'm using Vicodin, like, 3 or 4 during the day and it's not helping, something else is going on. So she was like, yes, we need to get an x-ray. So they do an x-ray, and they find out that I have, she said, you have bone spurring in your neck, and you have like, it looks like osteoporosis in your neck. So that's probably just years of like, all the things that I do with my right side, even though I'm left-handed. I don't eat right-handed, but I do a lot right-handed. And so, she ordered an MRI, which takes like another week. Everything takes a week. So I go do the MRI and they get the results and they say that there's like a disc bulge and there's, definitely like osteoporosis in my neck. So I finally, so I had to make an appointment with a neurosurgeon. A referral had to go through. So today was the first day that I saw him. It's been 5 weeks since the injury. It's taken a month and a week to see the neurosurgeon. I don't even know what I look like right now. My God, this is scary. And so he was so friggin' nice. I had to be referred to him. He's not through my normal like care program, which is like Medi-Cal. Like, I got a referral to go to like a Blue Cross doctor in Santa Cruz. Like, he's a like super awesome neurosurgeon. Anyways, he gets there, I get there, and they ask me if I have the disc from the MRI, and I'm like, no, nobody gave me a disc. Nobody said anything about a disc. Well, unfortunately, this hospital where I had the MRI at, doctors don't have access to their system unless they are at that hospital. So I get to the finally I'm at this appointment, but he doesn't have the disc for my MRI, which is what he needs. So he's only has the written report, and he says with him, he needs pictures. And he goes, you know, he thinks it's most likely a herniated disc, which it's crazy to think that I went to this one guy and he tried to pass everything off as nothing because I told him that I needed Vicodin basically, and he like let me go with lidocaine patches. Like, I might have a herniated disc, and that's how I was treated. Like, that's freaking insane to me, and it's so infuriating to me. Like, he literally walked out of the office because he knew I was like, are you like, it's so crazy because he thought I was asking in maybe a drug addict sort of way, but I was like asking because I was in extreme pain. And so it's funny how, like, with pain management now, how it's being treated in the US, and it's like, or maybe all over, because I know there's a crisis and everything. They're very careful about prescribing it. My doctor did end up prescribing it for me, but she really wanted me to go. She said 4 or 5 a day is way too much. She goes, I want you to try all these other methods. So right now what I do is I just, because the pain is less now after like 5 weeks, it's not as extreme as it was, but it's still there. I cannot sleep on my sides at all. I have to sleep straight on my back. And that's totally like, because within a minute or two, I'm in pain. I cannot lay on my sides at all. And that's 5 weeks later. So the injury's still there. It's radiating down my arm. That's another thing, is I have aching and pain in my elbow and the back of my hand. And that's all because of this nerve that's being pinched. And so basically what the neurosurgeon, I ran from, like, I took the day off today for this appointment. And I ran to the radiology department, which is about 15 minutes away, back at Watsonville Hospital, got the CD burned, took it back to Santa Cruz to this neurosurgeon because he was leaving at 12:30 for the day. So I wanted to make sure he had it before he left. It was 11:30. I haven't heard anything yet. But anyways, he said so I got it to him, thank God. And in the meantime, he wants to do steroid orally, so I'm going to do that for like the next 3 days. So if I get really like irritated and, you know, want to fight people, that's why. And then I'm also going to get steroid injections, but he doesn't do it, so those don't happen for, like he says, it takes like a week or 2 to get in to have those done. I don't even know. I didn't even make an appointment for that, so I don't even know what's happening with that. So anyways, steroids next to see if that fixes the inflammation and if things start to get better. If not, we'll find out really what's going on once he sees the MRI. But worst case scenario is that it's surgery. But I could see, he showed me in the X-ray my vertebrae, and I've had anatomy. I actually took it for I was going to become a nurse, so I've taken all my prereqs for nursing. So I actually was an anatomy TA for the teacher because I did so well in my class. So I'm super into the body, and I understand how the nerves go through the spine and all that. And he showed me my spine, and I could see, he goes, you know, this is normal, this is normal, this is where you have the issue. And you could see, he goes, this is where it's compressed, and it's bone on bone. I mean, you can just see there's like no space in between, it's just squished together. So again, going back to that PA who literally walked out and didn't even get me an x-ray, like, I hope that somebody, I mean, I feel like writing to him. If I get the report that it's a herniated disc, I'm going to write him a note and tell him, like, you really overlooked me when I was telling you I was in extreme pain. And I was not somebody seeking drugs. I needed help. So anyways, that's where I'm at right now. And if anybody's ever been through this, please, my God, comment below and let me know if you've recovered from it and didn't have to have surgery, or if you had to have surgery. What is that all about? I have no idea. We didn't even talk about that. So I don't know if there's going to be a surgery at all, but if there is, what do they do for a compressed vertebrae that's pinching a nerve? You know, and I asked him if there's any permanent damage at this point with my nerve, because it's been irritated for literally 5 weeks straight. It's been a constant pinching for 5 full weeks. And he said anything like after, like, he said the first 13 weeks, he said 13 weeks, which I thought was an odd number. It's pretty much safe that there would be no permanent damage to a nerve. But after that, it's into, like, he kind of said like 6 months later, he goes, yeah, there could be like things with nerves if they're bothered for too long. So it's, yeah, I'm going through the process and just seeing what happens. But it really sucks to be in chronic pain every day. and to be literally living my life with gabapentin and naproxen and a half a hydrocodone every night when I go to bed. And this has just been my life for the last 5 weeks. I feel like a complete drug addict. I mean, I literally have to take gabapentin around the clock, and I take naproxen in the morning and at night, and that's it. I think, do I take anything else? Well, I take my HIV medication. But yeah, it's I have to take it. Otherwise, once it starts to wear off, I feel it again, and I have to take it because the pain is there. So yeah, anyways, that's what's going on. I don't, yeah, anyways, I'm rambling now at this point, so I'm going to get out of here. And yeah, but if anybody has any advice or knows anything about this kind of injury, please let me know what you know, because I don't really know what the procedure would be, what the kind of like rehabilitation is after, if there is surgery, how they fix something like that in your vertebrae. I don't know anything about it, so let me know if you know. Okay, I apologize for my raspy voice, but you know, it is what it is. Okay guys, see you soon. Okay, bye.